guys, welcome back. So today I have my March TBR for you, and I am really excited about this month. I've been talking about it periodically in other videos, so if you have seen those, you might be aware that in the month of March, I am planning on reading mostly Black authors, and I am super jazzed about it. I know that February was Black History Month. Unfortunately, February just didn't work for me to make that my primarily Black author month, but for March I am doing it. Also, this is partly in celebration of one of my favorite books of the year that is coming out this month, Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I know I'm like a broken record, but you guys, this book is fantastic, so if you haven't yet, pre-order it. Pick it up when it comes out because it's so good. I also want to say I've seen some other people do videos talking about that there are people doing this thing called #Blackout, where they're reading all Black authors for a month or for the entire year even, which I just think is fantastic. And I think it's an important thing too, because we need more authors of color, and I think we often don't read enough of them. So in light of that, this month I am planning on reading a whole bunch. There are a few non-Black authors in here for buddy reads and for a couple of other things that I've committed myself to, but the bulk of these books are by Black authors. And as always, if you guys are interested in buddy reading any of these with me, please do let me know in the comments down below. I love doing buddy reads. I just think they're a lot of fun. So let's get into this. So the first books that I'm planning on reading this month are ones that I have out from the library because I need to give them back and I want to make sure that I get to them prior to them being due. The first one is the second book in a series, The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. A couple months ago I read the 5th season and loved it. This is an adult fantasy series that deals with themes of oppression and racism. It's got some queer representation. Yeah, it's fantastic. I loved the 5th season and I'm really excited to get into book 2. So that will be the first book I'll be picking up this month. The other book that I have out from the library is one that I have also heard really great things about, and this one should be a quick read. I'm really excited. It is An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. And this is actually a historical romance novel with a Black female protagonist. I've heard such good things about it. I'm really excited to get into it, and it's like not very long, so it should be a pretty quick read. As far as I know, it's a love story, but the main character, Elle Burns, is a former slave who is working undercover as a spy in the South during the Civil War. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into that one. I've heard great things about it. And in the same vein, although I may pick this one up later in the month when I need a lighter read, I have another Alyssa Cole book that I've heard such good things about, and this one just came out actually, and I found a signed copy at the Strand, and I had some store credit because I sold some books to them, so I picked up A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole, and this is the beginning of a new series, the Reluctant Royal series. This just sounds really fun. The main character is a grad student in a STEM field, which, number one, that's amazing, and then I think the deal is that she has these emails that keep going to her junk folder telling her that she's somehow betrothed to an African prince and ignores them, but it turns out that it's actually true, and so the prince goes to try to find her, and I think it's almost like a reverse Cinderella story maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it just sounds really fun. I've been hearing really good things about it, so I'm planning on picking that up this month. The next book that I have to read this month is American Street by Edie Zaboy, and I'm really excited to get to this. I've had this for a while. I actually got it back in September at Brooklyn Books Festival, where I got to meet her and get the sign, and I have heard really good things. This book is, I think, like kind of a magical realism book, but it is set in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. And it features a main character who is a Haitian immigrant and her kind of dealing with the immigrant experience in America and like racism, and I don't know a whole lot about it, but it sounds really good and I'm excited to pick it up. Also, you guys, she has this book coming out this fall that I just pre-ordered. I'm so excited about it. I will put a picture right here and see what the cover looks like. It's called Pride. It is a Pride and Prejudice remix set in modern day Brooklyn, and oh my gosh, you guys, my mind is like blown. I cannot wait for this book, so I pre-ordered that, so go check that one out too, but I will be reading this month and I am really looking forward to it. Next up is a book that I am reading as part of Middle Grade March, which is being hosted by Krista over at Books and Jams, and that is Miles Morales' Spider-Man by Jason Reynolds. I am excited about this too. I've heard really good things. This is based on sort of a spin-off of Spider-Man with a Black young man as the main character, and he's like a new Spider-Man or something. I don't know much about it, but I've heard good things. I like Jason Reynolds, so I'm excited to pick that one up. Then getting into some more serious books, I have The Darkest Child by Dolores Phillips, and this is the only novel that she ever wrote. It was a bestseller and they're re-releasing it with a new introduction. I think she passed away recently, but as far as I know, it's like a coming-of-age novel about a young black girl living in Georgia in the late 1950s during the Civil Rights era. So, yeah, I'm excited to pick this one up. It should be interesting, and it's supposed to be really good. And you guys, as usual, my TBR is enormous, right? I always do this, but I'm excited. There's a lot of really good stuff here. The next book I have is another bestseller and winner of the Pulitzer Prize. It's The Known World by Edward P. Jones. Again, I don't know a whole lot about it. I just know it is a novel about a farmer who is a former slave and I guess his life story. I don't know much about it, but I'm looking forward to picking it up. I mean, it won the Pulitzer, so it's probably good. I actually have another book that I picked up at the Brooklyn Book Festival. That is Girl Caught by Florence Webber Maxwell, and I'm excited. This one actually won an award for Caribbean literature, and this is by a Caribbean author. And I don't know a ton about it, but it sounded really interesting, and I think kind of a mix of like fun and serious. It's about a 16-year-old girl living in Bermuda in 1959, and I guess there were race riots going on there, and so it's kind of a coming-of-age story, but it's also her dealing with the political realities of it. So I'm really excited to check this one out. Next, I have a nonfiction book, and this is actually a memoir. It's called Black Gold of the Sun, Searching for Home in Africa and Beyond by Ikao Ishun. And again, this is one that I just saw at a bookstore and picked up. It looked interesting. It is about a man who was born in London to African parents, and at the age of 33, he goes back to, I think, Ghana, kind of looking for his heritage and his history. Yeah, so this should be an interesting one. And I have another bestseller, and you guys, I've been wanting to pick this one up for a while because I love this author. Everything I've read by her so far has been amazing. It is Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. If you guys haven't read anything by her, please do yourself a favor and pick something up by her because she is fantastic. I've read a couple of things by her. I've loved all of them. This was a national bestseller. It says one of the 10 best books of the year from the New York Times and Book Review. I don't really know much about it, but I know it's a novel and deals with, you know, issues of identity and blackness, and yeah, so I'm excited. I'm gonna read that one this month. Then I do have a handful of books that are not by Black authors that are on my TBR for this month, so let's talk briefly about those. The first one is a pretty quick novella, and you guys, if you haven't seen my review yet, I read Name of the Wind in February and was completely obsessed, which was thanks to Leanna from Leanna's Library. I will leave a link to her channel down below if I remember to do so. But we are going to be buddy reading this month The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. And this is set in the same world, but it is a really short little novella by a side character. So I'm excited to pick this one up. She actually hasn't read it before, so we will be reading this in March. And then continuing on with the Sword of Truth series, I'm going to be buddy reading Stone of Tears by Terry Goodkind with Leanna from Leanna's Library, Lauren from The Novel Lush, and Jade from Bedtime Bookworm, assuming we can all get our stuff together and read this chunker. This is like a continuation of this really fun epic high fantasy series, so I will be reading that this month. And then finally, I forgot to bring this in here while I'm filming, but Courtney Over the Cortagonist and somebody else, I'll try to leave information for these readathons too in the video description down below, but they're doing March Mystery Madness or something like that and reading a bunch of mystery novels. And so I actually got my very first cozy mystery, you guys. I haven't read one before. Courtney is super into them, and I saw this one for 50 cents and picked it up, and I think it'll be fun. I'll put a picture right here because, again, I left it in the other room, but it's called State of the Onion. So, like, funny play on words. I don't remember who it's by, but it should be on the picture right here. But I will be reading that as part of their mystery thing for March, and I'm really excited. And then lastly, if that wasn't enough, I also have an advanced copy of a book that I agreed to review. It's a fantasy book coming out in March, and I think it's self-published, but it sounded really interesting, so I agreed to review it. It's called, I'll put a picture right here so you can see what it looks like, but it's called Be Careful What You Joust For by Ryan Hauge, I think. And this is the first book in the Pentavia series. It sounded kind of like it might be up my alley. This is a epic fantasy series. It's supposed to be kind of a mix of comedy and fantasy, and yeah, it just sounded fun. So I agreed to read and review that. So I will be reading that as well. I do have a number of books on NetGalley that I need to read for May. Which I guess I've got a couple months before then, so we'll see. I might get into some of those if I have the time, because it like stresses me out a little bit having them all pile up. But in general, those are the books I'm going to be reading. I'm also in the middle of The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli, which I am buddy reading with Brandy from Brandy Janae's bookshelf. So I do need to finish that up. I think I've got like 150 pages left in the book, so that shouldn't take me too long. And then I am super excited to jump into all of these. So there you have it. That is my, as always, quite ambitious TBR for March, but I'm really excited. There's a lot of great books here, you guys. In the comments down below, let me know if you guys have read any of these. If you want to buddy read any of these with me, I would always love to do that. Or if you have any thoughts, let me know. If you liked this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.